are doing absolutely well. Welcome back to another pick a card reading. So today's reading is how do your neighbors view you? I guess you could have a specific neighbor in mind if you wanted to. Um, but yeah, I don't really have any goal for this reading. I just wanted, I don't know, hopefully to be fun, be a bit nosy, you know? Anyways, so how do your neighbors view you? So we have three groups for you to choose from. You have group one, group two, and group three. If you want to pause the video to choose whichever group is calling out to you, feel free. But I shall see you all in your readings. Hey, beautiful people that chose group one. I hope you all are doing so good. If you chose this amethyst crystal, then this reading is for you, maybe. So your neighbors or a specific neighbor, how are they viewing you? Okay, let's have a look. Oh my gosh, look at this lineup of cards. Okay, so we have, that's the Nine of Pentacles, right? Yeah, Nine of Pentacles upright, King of Pentacles upright, Six of Pentacles reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles upright. That's crazy. That's like, I don't know, that's like lovely energy. Wow, okay. So your neighbors view you as independent, or you are creating that for yourselves. For some reason, I'm hearing like out of place, you know. So for some of you, your neighbors could view you as a bit out of place. This could be maybe in a way or in a sense where they feel or view you as someone who doesn't fit in, and maybe you try not to fit in, or you not try not to fit in, but you don't try to fit in. Like you don't purposely go out of your way, you know, to try and fit in. Or maybe like who you are in comparison to the people in your environment could just be very different. Like, I don't want to, you know, say it like this, but you could be like a flower in like a field full of like weeds or something like that. And I don't mean that in a bad way, especially in like, you know, talking about your neighbors, but they see you as out of place in that way, like, you know, if that makes sense. um so yeah, for some of you, you could either be quite different from the people in your environment, um or maybe you feel that way, or people just could perceive you that way. Yeah, okay. So yeah, people, your neighbors, sorry, also view you as someone who's very responsible. They view you as like wealthy and healthy. They view you as secure in general, but for some of you, they could feel like you're financially secure, or that's how they view you. Maybe they view you as good with finances, regardless of what your income may be at this moment. Um, for some of you, maybe your neighbors don't even know that much about you. For some of you, maybe it's that your neighbors perceive you as someone who doesn't share easily. They definitely view you as smart, or that you have a lot of wisdom. 1 second, where are they? Where is that deck of cards? Sorry, one moment. Okay. So yeah, for some of you, they could view you as maybe not letting people in easily. But yeah, they definitely view you as having a lot of wisdom. This could be due to your life experiences, or they just view you like, maybe you just look like someone who's very switched on, aware, maybe aware of their surroundings even. I want to say mixed in with a bit of innocence though. Anyways, so for some of you, they view you as like self-employed, or it could be like having a side hustle, maybe having multiple forms of income, even for some of you. If it's not self-employed or multiple sources of income, they could feel like you just have a decent job. Or if you're married actually, or if you're in a relationship, they could feel like you are a kept person in a way. But that's not for everyone. Like that's for a very small portion of you. But they could feel like you're kept in a way. Like you don't have to work too hard for, like, you know, for living. I don't know what to say, but yeah. Um, or if that's not the case, they could just feel like you have a decent job. Um, So your neighbors could also view you as like being elegant or just being a bit of a classy bird. You know what I mean? Like a bit of a classy bird. Like it. I like it. This could just be your energy if you don't resonate with being classy or elegant in terms of aesthetic, even though that is subjective, right? You know, what classy means to one person could be different to the next, right? So, um, but yeah, for some of you, they could just view you as classy in terms of your energy. But for others of you, this is definitely an all-rounder thing. So I feel like your neighbors, I'm hearing maybe a specific neighbor, they just feel like you're all about your damn self, like in a beautiful way where you're like very self-focused, maybe self-motivated, you know, stuff like that. Maybe you care a lot about your appearance, you know, you look after yourself, you know, a lot of self-care, which is a beautiful thing. And yeah, your neighbors feel like you are all about yourself when you want to be, you know. Um, they could view you as maybe a little bit reserved, especially the neighbors that maybe don't know you all that well. I do feel like there are some neighbors who maybe know you a bit more, and these are the ones that see you as like compassionate, loving, independent, and all those beautiful things. But some of your neighbors may not know much about you, so all they can do is assume, you know. So they maybe assume that you are a tad bit reserved at times. For some of you, like, again, this may not resonate for everyone, but for some of you, they could feel like you have a rich spouse. For others, though, they could feel like you want a rich spouse, or that you're gonna get a rich spouse, or it's just something that they can envision for you. Like, even if that's something that's never, you know, came up in your mind, like they could view it in that way. What else? So yeah, your neighbors view you as someone who's like very wise, very well put together as well. They feel like you are like a good, solid person, like with good character, you know. They view you as someone who's trustworthy, loyal, and all round successful. Again, you know, it doesn't really matter how other people define success, but feel like your neighbors view you as successful all round. You know who you are as a person, maybe what you've achieved for yourself, what you've built, and stuff like that. Uh, so yeah, your neighbors view you as. I feel like your neighbors think that stability is very, very important to you. Maybe even composure, you know, how you appear on the outside is very important to you, but also your stability. Like this could be stability in general, maybe creating that for yourself. Yeah, but they do view you as hardworking. For some of you, I'm hearing like maybe a little bit straight faced, maybe a bit of a neutral face, especially the neighbors that maybe don't know you all that well, or maybe maybe some of your neighbors view you as having like a dope poker face, like a really good poker face. Maybe even I don't know. Let me see. Nah. Okay. If you don't yet consider yourself successful, then they really do think you're either destined for that or you're about to be extremely successful. Your neighbors view you as generous, but maybe this generosity is normally displayed towards other people. Maybe like friends, family, you know, stuff like that. Maybe the neighbors that you're more closer with and stuff. Um, but yeah, so for some of you, they could also view you as someone who's quite submissive as well. They view you as like a great parent. If you are a parent, they could view you as like dedicated as well. They view you as respectful, someone who's definitely worthy of respect. They feel like you have like beautifully balanced energy, especially between you know, masculine and feminine. I'm pointing at the wrong cards, but masculine and feminine. um especially the Nine of Pentacles, she's meant to be like a baddie apparently, you know, she's very like well put together and stuff like that. So yeah, so some people definitely feel like you have a mixture of very, you know, masculine qualities and feminine qualities. And I'm even hearing like for some of you, if you are single parents, okay, they view you as being able to provide with that King of Pentacles being there, but also being emotionally available, which is so fucking amazing. And I can't even imagine how difficult that, you know, is at times. But they feel like your energy is definitely beautifully balanced, you know, regardless of whether you have kids or not, but especially if you do have kids, they view that as being like a miracle, like you're a blessing in some way for being able to take on those two qualities of being a provider, from being stable, from being, you know, diplomatic, and you know, what's that word, like discipline, or and but at the same time being loving and generous and kind and emotionally available. So yeah, waffle, waffle, waffle. So your neighbors view you as, for some of you, your neighbors could view you as maybe slightly undervalued or underappreciated, maybe by the people around you, perhaps. So for some of you, your neighbors could feel like you need like a new set of people around you, people who support you, people who are there for you as much as you are able to be there for them. You know, if that makes sense. Um, like for some of you, they feel you need more people who are on your level, if that, you know, and who share the same kindness and morals that you do as well. You know. So yeah, some of your neighbors could also feel like you attract the spotlight, but for some of you, this could be in like a harmful way, or a way that could be harmful to you. Maybe you attract a lot of unsolicited attention. Maybe your neighbors are aware of this, but maybe you may not be so aware of this. Maybe like people, I don't want to say people like looking through your windows and stuff like that, but you may just get a lot of unsolicited attention, maybe in general. But yeah, they feel like the attention you do attract could be a bit dangerous to you at times. But they feel like you got it under control, or they just feel like you have your life under control in general. Um, some view you as emotionally mature. They view you as both a provider and emotionally available. They So some of your neighbors definitely view you as compassionate. I feel like this is maybe a specific neighbor, or you know, maybe the neighbors that you are more you know, closer to, but they do view you as compassionate, that you have a loving personality, or you're just someone who's incredibly easy to love. um I'm hearing easy on the eyes. So for some of you, your neighbors could definitely view you as very beautiful, easy on the eyes, very supportive as well. Um, your neighbors, or some of your neighbors, view you as someone who has this healing and comforting energy, or you just kind of ooze that, you know? What else? So for some of you, your neighbors also feel like you're strong AF. Again, this could be like physical strength, but for others of you, this is like all round, where they just feel like you're incredibly strong, maybe what you bring to the table as well. And they view you as someone who's empathetic too, which is amazing. So how do your neighbors view you? So we have here, be gentle with yourself. You've been through a lot and need time to heal and recover. So some of your neighbors view you as recovering. This could be recovering from like health stuff, financial setbacks, even. But they view you as recovering, bettering yourself in some way. Oh my God. So we have here, Doctor, heal thyself. So it's either that your neighbors view you as someone who is incredibly healing, or they view you as someone who's in need of deep healing. Like I feel even for some of you, your neighbor or neighbors view you as someone who maybe gives a lot, and what you are getting in return is just not fucking enough. Like for some of you, your neighbors view you as someone who I don't know. I don't want to say like your cup is empty, but like you're constantly replenishing other people's cups with your cup, and it's like, who the fuck is filling your cup, you know? Sorry about that, but yeah. So for some of you, your neighbors could view you as someone who's in need of healing, but for others of you, I just feel like it's that they just view you as someone who has an incredibly healing energy. Like they could feel like you have magic hands, or just very helpful or supportive. So we also have here determination, perseverance leads to fortune. So I definitely feel some of your neighbors think that you are either incredibly fortunate at this moment, or you are definitely manifesting that, creating that, working towards that for yourself. Uh, and your neighbors view you as someone who's incredibly determined, whatever that goal is for you. And, everyone views success and fortune very differently. So, whatever that fortune is for you, whether it just be happiness, whether it be financial, or, building a support system around you, they just feel like you're very determined. And whatever it is that you set your eyes on, they feel like you will achieve it for sure. Like, there's why else? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, you guys could have that energy even where it's like, if I want something, the only person that's standing in my way is me, and I'm aware of that. Some of you could be like that, and your neighbors see that in you. So yeah, some of your neighbors could feel like you've been through some tough things. Maybe you've had to heal a lot throughout your lives. Maybe some of you, this healing of yours is, maybe they can see it in some way. Maybe it's something they can see. Maybe like, I don't know, like a physical health stuff. For some of you, it could be just maybe life in general hasn't been the easiest for you. And whenever I see Nine of Pentacles as well, I do think from the bottom to the top. So for some of you, you've came a long way, and your neighbors see that in you. But I'm also hearing like your neighbors view you as someone who helps people get through shit, as well. They view you as such, and maybe a strong support, maybe to someone specific or just to people in general. But yeah. So we also have here, you seem a little shy and I find it endearing. So how do your neighbors view you? So yeah, your neighbors could view you as a little shy. But I feel like all around regardless of whether you resonate with being shy, reserved, blah, 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 outgoing, who cares, but, whatever you resonate with, your neighbors view you as incredibly endearing, regardless of whether you resonate with being outgoing or shy or yada yada. So we also have, I can't be there for you the way I want to or the way you need me to. So some of your neighbors view themselves as having like nothing to offer you. It's like a lot of your neighbors could view you as someone who is like, it's like, I cannot maybe be there for you the way you are there for me. Or I don't know, your neighbors just view like there's just some sort of imbalance in terms of what you give and what you receive. But yeah, your neighbors view you as someone who maybe it's hard to be there for you. Like maybe you're just that independent where it's hard to be there for you. Like, let people help you and stuff like that. But for others of you, it's like they can't match or meet your needs. Your neighbors feel like for some of your neighbors feel like they don't have a lot to offer you, maybe in terms of conversation or I don't know. Like, yeah. So we have this connection will forever affect me. So your neighbors view you as someone who definitely makes an impact. So we also have, I'm worried you don't feel the same. Oh, okay. So a lot of your neighbors could feel like their feelings towards you or is unrequited in a way. It's like maybe some of your neighbors, they view you as not feeling the same way. So for example, if your neighbor's like really chatty and like, oh, how are you? You're so la 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 la, they could feel like you maybe if you do it back and if you're like if you reciprocate like a conversation with your neighbor or something like that, then they could feel like you're just doing it to be kind and that you're not genuinely interested in them. So for some of you, your neighbors do like they maybe for some of you that's even a reason why they could feel like they don't match up to your needs, or they feel like they can't fulfill your needs or be there for you the way that you I don't know, for some of you, yeah, your neighbors could just feel like you don't feel the same way, you know? I feel like a lot of your neighbors adore you, if I'm being honest, but maybe they could perceive you as reserved or closed off in a way. Even though you are generous and very kind, they could feel you're just doing it to be nice. So we also have, I hope you can understand, how do your neighbors view you? Your neighbors view you as very understanding. So we also have here balls deep, how do your neighbors view you? So for some of you, your neighbors view you as emotionally deep, or you have a lot of depth to you. So we also have opportunists. How do your neighbors view you? So yeah, for some of you, your neighbors do view you as an opportunist. And again, you know what I was saying earlier about having goals, you just go out and do it, yada yada. Like for some of you, your neighbors view you as someone who, maybe as someone who gets a lot of great opportunities, or you're able to manifest a lot of great opportunities for yourself and you take full advantage of it, because why wouldn't you, you know? And that's how your neighbors view you. So we have self-love, that's dope, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. Like, we have so many awesome cards here actually. So, and we have it above heal thyself. So for some of you, maybe loving yourself has been a struggle in the past, and really appreciating yourself and feeling appreciated by others and healing yourself. Maybe your healing and recovery journey has been long, but I feel you are in a good place, even though there are, you know, certain things, yada yada. But your neighbors, I don't know, they view you as being in a good place, regardless of where you came from or how you got to where you are, you know, today. But they view you as all about yourself. Like you ooze self-love, like you ooze self-care. Like when your neighbors look at you, they're like, yeah, this is a person who's trying to take care of themselves, you know. Yeah. And finally we have, I'm not a forgiving kind of person. So how do your neighbors view you? So for some of you, your neighbors view you as unforgiving. It's like one strike and you're out. And for some of you, they view you this way because you are such a genuine person, because you are such a kind and trustworthy, loyal person. So it's like, if they were to do something to break your trust, it's like breaking the trust of an angel, or like a, you know what I mean? Or it's like doing something bad to a child or a baby. It's like, why the fuck would you do that in the first place? You know, it's just stupid. I don't know why I'm swearing so much. I'm really sorry. But yeah, so for some of you, they could view you as someone who's just not forgiving because of what you offer people, and maybe because you do come from like a genuine place, or, you know, a kind place. I don't know, but it's just like, why would you betray someone like that? And if you were to do that, then they probably wouldn't forgive you, you know. But anyways, that is all I have for you though, for this group. I hope I wasn't waffling on too much. I'm sorry about the cussing, but I'm wishing you all the best on your journeys, and I hope this reading could be nice or resonate or be helpful. I don't know, just I don't know. Anyways, take care of yourselves. I love you. Bye. Hi, if you chose the first group, then this reading is for you. So how do your neighbors view you? Or maybe a specific neighbor for some of you. But yeah, let's have a look, okay? Oh, so how do your neighbors view you? So, okay. So we have here the Two of Swords reversed, Six of Swords reversed, Page of Cups upright, and the Wheel of Fortune upright. Nice. Okay. So how do your neighbors view you? So for some of you, your neighbors could view you as maybe indecisive, maybe at times emotionally detached, or maybe even cold at times. For some of you, they see you as someone they need to be cautious about, or someone they need to like worry about. For some of you, your neighbors could be worried about you, or maybe a specific neighbor could be worried about you, or they just kind of keep an eye on you to make sure like you're good, maybe even an emotional sense. So your neighbors could also feel like you tread carefully, perhaps in regards to your own emotions. Maybe you're very cautious and self-aware of your emotions. Wait one second. For some of you, your neighbors could even view you as like someone who isolates when you are feeling emotional. Maybe when you are feeling overwhelmed, you detach at times. And maybe for some of you, your neighbors have noticed that. Some of your neighbors have also noticed, or they view you as someone who is trying to remove negative or harmful attachments from their lives, or just in regards to people or certain things, uh, maybe even health wise. Your neighbors also view you as healing from something slowly but surely. Um, I don't know. This could be one of your neighbors, a specific neighbor, or your neighbors in general. They could, or maybe even an ex neighbor for some of you, but they view you as like hard to move on from. But for others of you, this could be like an ex neighbor, perhaps, or maybe a neighbor that kind of liked you even. They think you're hard to move on from. So I'm hearing like your neighbors feel like you're super cute. Sorry if that offends anyone. They feel like they view you as like sweet as pie, honestly. Um, they view you as having overcome trouble and maybe certain delays in your life, maybe certain challenges. For some of you, though, or maybe a specific neighbor, they could view you as maybe, struggling to cope. And when I was checking, clarifying, the Nine of Swords appeared. So for some of you, your neighbors could view you as struggling to cope at times. And maybe that's when you isolate yourself or when you become a little bit detached. For some of you, they could maybe think you're struggling mentally if obviously, you have like mental health stuff going on. They could view you as, having to deal with that. But they do view you as someone who has this duality to you. It's like if I see you one day, you could be one way, and if I see you the next day, you can be a totally different way. So you can have a duality in that sense, or you could just be very talented, multi-talented even for some of you. So yeah, some of your neighbors could definitely view you as being in your head, or overthinking, or being a bit dreamy, head in the clouds, or you're just like always in deep thought. Like when they see you, you're always in deep thought, or you just look like you're just in deep thought. Or you just look dreamy and just, for some of you, they think you look dreamy as opposed to being dreamy, if that makes sense. But yeah, some of your neighbors definitely view you as someone who's sensitive, perhaps even intuitive. They view you as kind, they view you as sweet as well. I'm hearing like forever young. So for some of you, they view you as like forever young. Again, this could be in terms of looks, this could be in terms of your energy as well, you know? Like for some of you, I'm not entirely sure what Peter Pan syndrome is, but I feel for some of you, your neighbors could view you as having like Peter Pan syndrome. I'm gonna actually search that up after I finish this reading, to be honest. But it's not about like in your neighbor's perspective. In your neighbor's perspective, it's not about you being like immature in any way. This is more like allowing your inner child to take the wheel. And they view you as a lot of fun. So yeah, I definitely don't take that in a. I don't know if Peter Pan syndrome is even a negative or a positive. I have no idea. I can't remember. But yeah, not they don't view you as immature at all, but just maybe very youthful in a way. A lot of fun as well. Some of your neighbors view you as. So some of your neighbors even view you as quite playful, very intuitive, maybe even psychic for some of you, like highly spiritual person. Again, like I'm getting the message that some of your neighbors could view you like a child, but not in a negative way at all. And I really wish I could express that in better words, but I don't know. But yeah, maybe for some of you it's like an innocence or something, or maybe you just look really young for some of you. But they definitely view you as kind of maybe being in your own world, very creative or artistic. I feel a lot of your neighbors admire you. They could admire you for being humble, if you resonate with that. But for others of you, they legit think you are a psychic, and that is why they admire you. They're like, how the fuck did you know that? Maybe you're very, yeah, maybe you're very in tune with other people. So yeah, some people could even view you as like empathetic, very understanding maybe, or even accepting of people and their, their perceived faults and stuff like that. But I feel a lot of your neighbors definitely view you as optimistic, uplifting, maybe uplifting of other people around you, of yourself. Maybe you're good at picking yourself up, especially after, difficult times. But yeah, your neighbors view you as someone who's perhaps very blessed and highly favored, maybe a bit chaotic, but again, not in a bad way, more like in a dynamic way. Like, what surprises do you have for me today? Like, I see some of your neighbors saying that, like, how are you going to shock me, or how are you going to surprise me today? So they could feel like you're chaotic in that way. Maybe your energy is a bit chaotic, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. um but yeah, they could view you as quite lucky. Some of your neighbors though could view you like as a good luck charm, or you're just, it's like if they were upset and they saw you, and it's like they just feel a bit happier. Or maybe you give them advice, maybe even indirectly, like whereas you really wasn't intending to give them advice, but maybe how you carry yourself, or how you move through certain things in your life has inspired them in a way, or has given them guidance in a way. But yes, but yeah, they view you as maybe someone who's been through a lot of upheaval, maybe in your life, in general, or maybe more recently. But they do feel like you're coming out on top, regardless of what you may be going through. Not saying regardless that like it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it like that, but you know. But yeah, let's see what else we have though. So how do your neighbors view you? Oh, so we have ocean, go with the flow and flow with the glow. For some of you, your neighbors could even think you're chaotic in that way, where maybe you do go with the flow and you don't have a set routine and you don't have yada yada. Maybe your lifestyle is a bit, different or unusual, or just how you go about it is. But they definitely view you as someone who is going with the flow. And I feel like a lot of neighbors even view you as someone who is glowing. Like you have this aura about you that's just, positive and glowing, even if you're not feeling so much that way. But for others of you, maybe they feel like you have beautiful skin. Maybe your skin is glowing. For some of you, I'm hearing you have very beautiful eyes in your neighbor's perspective. So how do they view you? So we have spiritual path. Your true beliefs are becoming clearer to you, which prompts you to make necessary life changes. Oh, okay. So we have Wheel of Fortune as well. So for some of you, your neighbors could view you as someone who isn't afraid to initiate changes if you have to, regardless of whether those changes be scary, fun, but your neighbors definitely view you as someone who isn't afraid to initiate change. Maybe they view you as someone who's not afraid of change, and maybe you are someone who welcomes change, and your neighbors view you that way. For others of you though, your neighbors really do view you as someone who's on a spiritual path. At first, when I picked it up to clarify, the Hierophant came out, which is like meant to be, like a spiritual person, right? And then the Nine of Cups came out, which again for me is someone who's quite spiritual and emotionally in tune and intuitive, blah blah blah. So yeah, some of your neighbors could definitely view you as someone who's on a very spiritual path. And yeah, just a spiritual person in general, maybe. I feel like a lot of your neighbors see you as someone who is becoming more enlightened every single day. It's like you're constantly changing, growing, adapting, even. So for some of your neighbors, maybe do view you as someone who is highly adaptable. But yeah. So we also have silence, saying the mind. Let silence guide you to your inner peace. Nice. So yeah, some of your neighbors view you as meditative, but again, I'm getting that same message of, for some of you anyway, it's like when you do feel overwhelmed, when you do feel emotional, maybe you do take a step back, maybe you do allow silence or solitude to give you the peace or the guidance that you need. So for some of you, a lot of your neighbors could feel like you're very self-reliant in that way, where maybe when it comes to regulating yourself, your emotions, or doing what you have to do in order to find your peace, re-find your peace even, and recenter yourself. So yeah, your neighbors view you as very meditative, blessed, very connected to higher powers, maybe even. But yeah, let's see what else we have. So we have here trust your intuition. So yeah, your neighbors could view you as someone who's definitely very intuitive, clarified by the King of Cups as well. Okay, very intuitive. Some of your neighbors even view you as someone who's quite clever. Knight of Swords, that is so funny. Yeah, so some of you, your neighbors could view you as someone who's quite clever as well. We have just friends. Maybe some of your neighbors view you as very friendly. For some of you, maybe there's a specific neighbor who wants to be more than just your friend, but they maybe view you as having friend zoned them. But yeah, they view you as very friendly, someone that they would love to be friends with, you know? Oh, you guys sound so awesome. At least in your neighbor's perspective, they're like, oh, I love this person. Like some of your neighbors could legit love you. Like, just love your energy. Do you know when you just kind of love or care about someone and you just don't maybe know them that well, but you're just like, oh, like this person has, like you have a soft spot for this person. So a lot of your neighbors could have soft spots for you, or maybe a specific neighbor. Yeah, anyways. So we have here, you are so strong, but you don't have to do this alone. So yeah, some of your neighbors could definitely view you as strong and alone. So Empress and the Four of Cups. Maybe for some of you, you don't. I don't know if you have like a strong support system, or you just feel alone in a way, or your neighbors just maybe view you as that, but they also view you as incredibly strong. I feel like there could be a specific neighbor, or maybe your neighbors in general, would like to be there for you in some way, or just like to be a support to you. I'm hearing even like just give you some words of encouragement. Maybe they don't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe they feel like it's not their place. But some of you, they want to give you words of encouragement. So we also have here, do you feel the same, or is it just me? Oh, my heart is literally so full. Like honestly, I've never felt this way during a reading before. I don't think so anyway. But my heart literally feels so full right now. So I don't know, maybe for some of you, you make, some of your neighbors feel full, or, maybe you just make them feel good about themselves. Um, Maybe it's your kindness even. And especially considering if you have been through a lot in your life. But yeah, my heart just feels really full. That's so nice. Maybe some of you are just very loving and, your neighbors see that. Oh, so okay. We have, do you feel the same way, or is it just me? How do your neighbors view you? So there is a specific neighbor that could like you a little bit, or they kind of just wonder if the feelings are mutual, regardless of what those feelings, those feelings could be romantic, it could be, platonic, but they kind of just wonder if maybe you care for them the same way they care for you, or if they just wonder if the feelings are mutual. We have, is that okay? All right, I'm even hearing some of you say this a lot, like, is that okay? But for others of you, I feel like if any of you has like said this to someone recently, like, is that okay? Or I don't know, but I'm hearing that this sentence in particular, I don't know, this may not resonate for everyone, may resonate for no one, but if you've said that recently, this line, then one of your neighbors could be thinking about it or something, or just thinking, oh, I don't know. I don't know. If you've recently done that, they just could feel like you're quite sweet. Or it's just like, oh, bless. So we have instant connection. How do your neighbors view you? So some of your neighbors feel like maybe they had an instant connection with you, but for others of you, they feel that you find it easy to connect with people perhaps, or people find it easy to connect with you. but I feel like it's not one-sided per se, but I feel like maybe other people may feel it stronger than others, if that makes sense. Or if you resonate with having instant connections with people, then take it that way. I hope that makes sense. But yeah. So we also have pillow talk. How do your neighbors view you? Do you know what I was going to say earlier? Your neighbors view you as someone who has a beautiful voice, but I thought maybe singing, that's why I said like creative or artistic. So for some of you, they could feel like you have just maybe a beautiful, like normal voice, normal talking voice. But if any of you sing or, you do stuff with your voice, like you have to speak, maybe you're like a teacher, um, or even like a YouTuber or influencer where you have to like use your voice or whatever what have you. I don't know. They just feel like you have a beautiful voice. Oh my gosh, so much waffling. God. Okay. I'm still thinking of the little things you did and said. I feel for a lot of you, your neighbors, it's like you may not even realize it, but you're dropping little gems. Like when you're talking to people, you are literally dropping literally gold in terms of knowledge and perspective. And yeah, a lot of neighbors could think or rethink certain things that you did and certain things that you said, and it kind of inspires them in a way. But yeah, so we have let's piss off the neighbors, don't hold back. That's funny. So how do your neighbors view you? So I'm hearing that some of your neighbors could find you like a bit mischievous, but in a nice way, obviously. For some of you, your neighbors could view you as maybe loud, maybe in terms of, I don't know, for some of you, maybe like music, or, if you have a lot of kids in your house, stuff like that, or maybe you're just loud in general, I don't know. Or maybe you laugh loud, I don't know. But some of your neighbors feel like you don't hold back in a way. Okay. And finally, we have I masturbate to the thought of you. Right, so I'm gonna leave it at that, okay? So I guess there could be some neighbors that find you attractive, and then fantasize about you from time to time. What can I say? But yeah, that is all I have for you though, for those of you who chose group 2. I hope this reading could resonate or be helpful or make sense or just be, I don't know, nice in a way. I don't know. But yeah, I'm wishing you all the best on your journeys, and take care of yourselves, you lovely, lovely people. Bye. Hi there, if you chose the third group, this here crystal, then this reading is for you. So, how do your neighbors view you? Okay, how do your neighbors view you? Or a specific neighbor? Okay, so we have here the Four of Cups upright, Temperance upright, Knight of Swords upright, Page of Wands upright. All of these groups today have been like so powerful. I don't know, it's just. So how do your neighbors view you? I feel for some of you, your neighbors could view you as maybe hard to reach or hard to get through to. For some of you, they could think you are isolated or just a bit withdrawn. This could be at the moment, or maybe there are periods where you do feel like this, or there are periods where they do feel like or perceive you this way. They could also perceive you as maybe not feeling fulfilled. Some of you, they could feel like you have, sad eyes, unfortunately. Like sometimes they think your eyes look sad, but maybe you're still wearing a smile or still being pleasant and polite, stuff like that. So your neighbors could also view you as having like a small circle. For some, they could think that you are introverted at times as well. They view you as almost disinterested, like you just seem like you don't care, like you seem like you don't really give a shite, and not in a way where you're feeling, no, not in a way where you are unfeeling or, what's that word? Apathetic, not in that kind of way, but it's just like in a way where it's like, I'm just doing me, So for some of you, they could view you that way. Like you just don't care, you're gonna do you, regardless of who you may rub the wrong way. Not that you're intentionally trying to rub people the wrong way, but but maybe more so in like a YOLO kind of way. So a lot of your neighbors or some of your neighbors could feel like you are kind of dark in a way. This could be, sense of humor, your energy, maybe your dress sense, maybe you have your house painted black. I don't know. But this could be something quite dark about you. Maybe even like a little bit seductive. But I just want to clarify this is like not in a bad way, But do you know who I'm getting? Like Wednesday Adams. You know how cool Wednesday Adams is? So some of you, it's like your neighbors could view you like that, where there's just this, darkness to you. But yeah. So for some of you, your neighbors could also view you as having a lot on your plate. Maybe some of your neighbors also feel like you're quite healing, and comforting as well. They feel like you're chill AF, but at the same time tempered. They could view you as evenly tempered, or maybe you are good at controlling your temper. It's like you could have a lot of emotions, okay? And um but it's like you choose peace. It's like I could, lose my ish on you right now, but I'm going to choose peace. So people definitely view you as even tempered in that regards. They feel like there's this peaceful energy to you as well. I really feel like the saying, I mean, not a saying, but like, don't let my niceness fool you. I feel like some of you could definitely resonate with that, or some of your neighbors view you that way. It's like, even though this person is nice and peaceful and even tempered, like, it doesn't mean they won't, tear ish up if they have to. But yeah, they definitely view you as, very chill, very peaceful, maybe harmonious. Maybe you're like a peacekeeper or a peacemaker, or people just feel at peace to you, when they're around you, sorry. Like for some of you, you could pretty much get along, with pretty much anyone. And maybe your neighbors notice this about you. It's like you could literally cut it up and talk to anyone, if you felt like it anyway. Because I do feel like some of your neighbors could feel you are, sometime-ish. It's like, not in a bad way, but people are humans, right? Everyone has their good days and not so good days. But yeah. For some of you, they view you as having intense eyes. It's like when people talk to you, they feel like you're listening, or it's like in their perspective, they know you're listening. It looks like it anyway, I'm hearing for some of you. But they do view you as someone who's quite intelligent, maybe very intellectual as well, maybe very knowledgeable as too. I'm hearing that some of your neighbors feel like you can be direct when you want to be. Maybe you're not direct very often. Maybe you don't really feel the need to be direct, or right, or so corrective all the time. But when you want to be, or when you feel the need to be, people definitely view you as quite direct and assertive. But maybe just not viewing you like that in a general sense. So even though you're like chill as hell, in some of your neighbors' perspective, they also view you as quite sharp and switched on. It's like I'm really getting the saying as well for this group. It looks like I'm not paying attention, but trust me, like I'm literally cataloging every single detail of this moment. So for some of you, yeah, people really view you as quite switched on. They even view you as maybe like what's that word? Like you seize the moment, or you seize the day. You take full advantage of your life, your capabilities, what you want to do, your goals. It's like they view you as, it's like I'm getting the say, I don't know if it's a saying, but the, how do you put it? The phrase, carpe diem. I don't know if I'm even saying it right, but it's like not in an impulsive way, but it's like at the same time you aren't afraid to jump in and get stuff done. For some of you, your neighbors view you as someone who's not afraid to do the dirty work. You're not afraid to get your hands a little messy. For some of you though, they do view you as quite rebellious. Like for some of you, they really view you as having the essence of a warrior, a champion, a hero. You know, maybe you've come, maybe you've saved a day for some of your neighbors, or maybe you've been helpful and it just really made their day, or it's like you don't understand the pressure that you took off me on that day. So. Um, But yeah, you definitely have the essence of someone who's a protector, a hero, a warrior, But at the same time, someone who chooses peace. It's like I'm not saying like a lot of you will resonate with this, but I'm kind of getting the feeling like imagine someone who's had to fight their whole life, and it's like at this time I choose peace, And even though like I can fight or I've been doing it for a long time, it's not something that I choose to do, and I only have to do it if I have to. So it's almost like a warrior who's put down their sword, if that makes sense. So yeah, some of your neighbors could also view you as like a tad bit impatient. Maybe you speak quite fast. Also, I'm hearing for some of you, they view you as someone who's incredibly unique. You're not afraid to break tradition, or you're not afraid to break the mold. It's like you don't give a fudge if you stand out. Like maybe for some of you that's not even your intention, but at the end of the day, I'm just doing me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, some of your neighbors feel like you don't care if you stand out, you don't care if you're different, or you don't care if your life looks a little bit different to the majority. So yeah, they really view you as someone who's quite strong in that regard. They view you as creative, and I'm even hearing at times quite extroverted as well, even though some people may think or perceive you as being the opposite. Maybe you have a blend of both introversion and being extroverted as well, um, or maybe depending on who you're around. But I'm getting the message that for some of you, your neighbors could view you like almost like a volcano in a way. It's like, but not active. It's like in your center, it's like fiery, bubbling, molten lava, but it's not active. But yeah, they just feel like maybe you have quite a fiery core, very powerful core. But yeah, so for some of you, your neighbors could also view you as quite young. For some of you, underdeveloped or immature in a way, and it doesn't have to be in a bad way at all. They view you as youthful as well. Some of your neighbors view you as quite cheerful, depending on what day it is, what day they find you. But they view you as quite charming, maybe even innovative in a way. Maybe for some of you, I'm hearing maybe you started doing something differently, maybe like in the building or the community, the area you live in. And maybe some people are like, that's not a bad idea. So yeah, for some of you, maybe you're quite innovative, and maybe people learn from your unique ways of doing certain things. But yeah, a lot of your neighbors could view you as almost like a rebel. But it's almost like you're an adored rebel. It's like even though you do go against the grain, it's like you're loved for it, you're adored for it. Maybe for some of you, your neighbors even view you as someone who's quite lovable too. Um, but I'm hearing like they view you as fearless, and I'm hearing that I think it's a Bible verse, but I'm not sure because I'm not really religious. But the Bible, I think it's a Bible verse, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I'm not sure about the rest of it. Anyways. So yeah, I'm getting that saying for some of you. So some of you could resonate with that. Or that's how some of your neighbors perceive you. Maybe you have, had to walk through, some dark periods, unfortunately. But yeah. Okay. So how do your neighbors view you? Okay, so we have here heightened intuition. So some of your neighbors could view you as having like a heightened intuition. So yeah, some of your neighbors definitely view you as like the silent and wise kind of type. So we have here church, temple, mosque, recognize your spiritual authority. Nice. So for some of you, even if you don't resonate with being authoritative, or you don't resonate with, being one of those people who needs respect from everyone or needs people to look up to them or yada yada, I feel like a lot of your neighbors maybe feel you're quite naturally authoritative, even if you don't feel like you lead with that. It could be your energy. Um, but for some of you, your neighbors recognize your spiritual power, maybe your depths, your wisdom, the things that you've learned through life, and certain challenges. For some of you, I mean, maybe they could view you as religious, spiritual, maybe, but I'm getting religious for the majority of you actually. So I feel like your neighbors also view you as trustworthy. um, yeah, it's like they would trust your judgment. We also have here, do not be frustrated, let go and feel peaceful. So yeah, a lot of your neighbors feel like you're even tempered, where it's like you could easily be frustrated, but you're like, woosah. So for some of you, they do feel like maybe you are good at, letting go in order to feel at peace. Or you're just a peaceful person in general, and you try not to let things rub you the wrong way. So how do your neighbors view you? So we have whipped cream plus your nipples equals yum. So for some of you, I'm hearing that your neighbors could feel like you have a beautiful body, 2 of Cups at the bottom. So some of your neighbors could feel like you're incredibly attractive. Yes. So we also have here selfless. So yeah, your neighbors also view you as someone who's quite selfless. Like you're very giving. It's like you're a safe place, or very comforting. It's like, even if you feel like you aren't very generous or you aren't very selfless, it's like people almost feel energetically, or they have this knowing that if they were in trouble, they could turn to you, you know? So we also have shadow work, and we have the 4 of Cups, which is for me a card for shadow work. So yeah, for some of you, maybe your neighbors feel like you have undergone a lot of shadow work. For some of you, I'm even hearing like they view you as someone who moves through the shadows. And again, I'm getting that, Bane, where he's like, oh, you adapted to the shadow. You probably don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but Batman and Bane. But it's like for some of you, your neighbors could feel like you've lived in the darkness. So it's almost like you've had to adapt, and you've kind of carried it with you a little bit, but not in a way that's harmful, but in a way where you've maybe learned from it. You've taken away that lesson. But yeah. So we have here wild thoughts. So for some of you, your neighbors could view you as out there in a way. We have you deserve better. So some of your neighbors feel like you either deserved better than a certain situation that you were maybe put into, but for others of you, they just view you as someone who deserves better in general, But, yeah. So we have here trauma. So some of you, your neighbors view you as maybe having gone through maybe a recent trauma, or just trauma throughout your life. But whatever it is, it's like you still have the battle scars, but maybe you've healed, or I don't want to say you've healed, but like maybe, you're well on your way to healing. Maybe for some of you, you are at peace with the trauma that you've been through. Oh, so we have you are so fudging sexy, damn straight. So how do your neighbors view you? So some of your neighbors view you as incredibly sexy. We have here dreamer. So for some of you, your neighbors view you as having like your sights set high. So we have, this is not just physical, this shit is spiritual. So I'm hearing that even if some of your neighbors don't have like a camaraderie with you, like a back and forth or, you know, stuff like that, it's almost like they still feel this spiritual bond or connection to you, you know? Um, yeah. But I do feel like there could be a specific person in your community, in your, you know, neighborhood, where they feel a physical attraction to you, but also such a deep spiritual connection to you as well. But I feel like whoever this is, they maybe haven't made this aware to you yet. But I'm hearing that for some of you, you know who this is though. You know, maybe you've had inklings about this person, but maybe they just haven't come forward. Or maybe you're just fully aware of whom this person could be. But anyways, and finally we have, I want you to trust me enough to let your guard down around me. So for some of you, yeah, your neighbors do view you as maybe slightly guarded. And for some of you, you know, maybe specific neighbors or, you know, what have you, they would love if you could allow your guard down around them, maybe a bit more or just in general, you know? Like, stop keeping me at a distance. Let me in, let me in, you know? But anyways, that is all I have for you. For those of you who chose group 3, I hope this reading could resonate or be helpful or just, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, wishing you all the best moving forward, all right? So take care of yourselves. Bye.